Welcome to the show. My name is Jeremy Poole, and I'm the host of The Moment on Real Estate Social, where we explore and celebrate the necessary transformational process one must go through to achieve a high level of success in the real estate industry. Today, we have the great pleasure of hanging out with Tonja Wortham. She is the CEO team leader of the Bellevue Keller Williams.
Hi, Jeremy.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
This is exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting. I've been watching her for quite some time, and I got to say I'm very honored and very happy to have her on the show. Several people, several females, friends of mine who are also very successful agents have mentioned her name over the last few weeks, and so we are very, very excited to have her on.
Oh, well, thank you. Congratulations on your show.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're excited. It's doing well, and people are getting inspired. I know a lot of people look to you for inspiration and knowledge. You run one of the most successful Keller Williams offices around here, so I'm stoked to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Tonja, as you know, the show is called The Moment.
Mm-hmm.
What would you consider, or what would you characterize as being a defining moment for you that allowed you to evolve and become the big success that you are today?
You know, I think that's easy for me to identify.
Okay.
And that is really when I left my job and became a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I worked at Boeing for 9.5 years, and I did fine there. I was going along with the employee track.
Sure.
And I got married, and in conversations with my husband, it became apparent that I didn't like working there. It was a good job, it paid the bills, I had opportunities and benefits and all that. And so he suggested that I quit and go really find what my passion is. So
that's interesting in itself, because in most cases that's not the case. It's usually, hey honey, suck it up, don't do that.
He's very supportive.
That's awesome.
And I grew up in a family. My mother is from England, and she grew up in the war, and so she's very conservative. And it was important to them that I have some stability in my life and things like that. So they really encouraged me to get a job at Boeing, and I have a lot of family there.
Yeah.
So that's really what led me there. It wasn't that I had a passion to work at Boeing.
Sure.
So he wanted me to find my passion no matter what that was. I really didn't have my eye on the ball of real estate at all. Again, he suggested it and said, I think that you'd be pretty good at this. So I did some research, and I went down and I interviewed at Coldwell Banker Bain and got the job. Yeah. I got my license and got started, and it was just instantly a good fit for me.
Awesome.
I did really well my first year, and and all the years following that, double my business.
Of course.
So the moment for me, Jeremy, was really that I found my entrepreneurial spirit that I didn't know was there. And I think that that's what I would encourage men and women that are in the working world and even in real estate to consider, who are they really at heart? And there's some personality tests and things that you can take to figure that out. So once I got on that track, I left Coldwell Banker Bain, and I went to Keller Williams in 2000. And they were brand new in the area.
Right.
And I was looking for a company that could teach me what I was supposed to be doing as a real estate agent.
Okay.
I'd done a lot of transactions. I did 24 transactions my first 9 months.
Your first 9 months.
And I was exhausted.
Wow.
And I didn't really know what I was doing, which is probably not a good idea.
Let's just slow down real quick. Most agents don't do 24 transactions in their first 5 years. So how do you go about doing 24 transactions in your first year?
I think that it's a limiting belief that they don't.
Okay.
Nobody was telling me how many I should be doing.
Sure.
And I set a goal and I grind away.
That's great.
So I did my first one that first month, and I really liked the way that felt. And,
I'm sure it felt good in your bank account
getting
too.
that paycheck.
Yeah.
And so I just decided that my job was to go find people that wanted to buy or sell a home.
Right.
And I just did that. So every avenue that I could take to find somebody and then, nurture it and keep it moving along, that's just what I did, and that was the results that I got. Once I got to Keller Williams, I remained an agent for a few years, and all the way until now. Okay. At some point in there, my husband got into the mortgage industry, and a few years later we opened a mortgage bank with a business partner. And that was really what took me onto the leadership the leadership track as well.
Sure.
And so I would say that those two moments they coincide and have brought me to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And without one, the other wouldn't have been possible.
Right.
And so I'm just grateful that, you know, in a way I got lucky. Nowadays, I don't think people have to get lucky. They don't have to accidentally find out what their passion is. You can investigate it and understand what your strengths are and find a place even in real estate. There's a career for everyone in real estate these days.
I couldn't agree more. And I think you hit right there bullseye in terms of, I think a lot of people in the space of real estate get into it and they kind of expect things to go their way. I think what you did differently, and those individuals that achieve a high level of success quickly, is that they look into themselves and just get busy and stay busy. They actually treat their business like it's a business on day one, rather than looking around and waiting for someone to tell them what to do. You know, I said this before, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times, is that I see the real estate industry as nothing more than a viable platform to accomplish one's goals. And I don't think anybody wakes up one day and says, you know what, I'm gonna be the best real estate agent in the area. It's just something that you discover, and it's a great alternative to accomplishing the goals that you've already decided that you want. So I applaud you on saying, you know what, Boeing's great. And at that time, I mean, Boeing's a great company. My dad works for Boeing, actually just retired from Boeing.
My dad too.
But if you have that burning desire inside of you, you know that you want more. So for you, was it the money, or was it just not having control of your time? I guess, what was it within you that said, Tonja wants more, not really sure what it is, but I'm gonna go find it?
It wasn't a more.
Okay.
It wasn't a more, it was a different.
Different.
You know, I jokingly say I'm just not a good employee.
Yeah.
So that whole like punching in at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
leaving at 2:30,
Yeah.
the confines of this is what you're doing, and I really wanted to find a career that will allow me to take my skills and abilities and take them as far as I could at the pace that I wanted to.
Absolutely.
I did have children and things like that, and so real estate ended up being a great alternative for, you know, a young mother, because I had some flexibility. And then the other nice thing is that I could make as much money. You know, although I wasn't going for the money, I really am very competitive, and I just wanted to win. So we had a
Have the most numbers on the board.
I did, yeah. We actually had a board
okay.
on the wall in my office that first year, and every single day I would go in there and I would look at it and I would determine what I had to do to move up on the board. And I wasn't even on the board when I started, because you had to actually, you know, be at a certain level.
Sure.
And then when I saw my name on the board, and then I started moving up, and next thing you know, I was at the top.
Just felt great, and you're like, I'm not leaving that peak.
Right.
I'm staying at the top.
Yeah. So years later, funny story. I was the team leader in the market center in Marysville, and we merged over the John L. Scott there, and Stan Friesner, who was my original broker in real estate at Coldwell Banker, that's who hired me.
All right.
He was then the broker owner at the John L. Scott, and so I was able to help him to retire. We took over his office, and in that office was that exact same board. He had taken it with him, so I took it down and put it up in the Marysville Market Center.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good
it's
for
very
you.
nostalgic.
So how long have you been the team lead in Bellevue?
I've been the team lead there since April of this year.
All right. Well, right on.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
Is there a board in there now?
Not yet.
Not
We're
yet.
doing a digital version of it, and it's being built right now.
That's cool.
And it'll auto update with, you know, through
All
our
the-
Winmore system. And so I'm excited because the word's out that we're doing it, and what happens is once that information gets up, you start to see the very competitive people in the office.
Sure.
And sometimes they're not who you think they are.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what it
Who
reveals
actually
about my
comes to
agents.
the surface? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What is the most meaningful project you have done, or what would you consider being a dream project if you haven't done one that really hits the sweet spot for you quite yet?
You know, I have to say that my personality and my strengths are that I'm a builder. I like to build things. I like to build careers. I like to build organizations.
Yeah.
And so I've had the blessing in my life to have many projects that allowed me to put that passion into action. And so I don't have a favorite. I can tell you that the ones that I've done through real estate and mortgage, launching Mortgage Advisor Group in 2004 and building that company up to, the largest volume company in the area.
Wow.
We were in 3 different states. We had 9 branches.
Wow.
We did a lot of good things in the community. We had great systems and standards. And so all of that was a great project. Moving on to a market center, building the Marysville Market Center up to #1 in Snohomish County, and seeing all of those agents in there just reaching their goals and achieving their dreams is really what lights me up. Now I'm in Bellevue and we're doing the same thing there. So I don't have a favorite. I love them all.
Well, I can see why so many people have recommended you being on the show. So it sounds like you've just been crushing it ever since you made an entrance into the real estate industry.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Okay.
And I feel as though Keller Williams is a really great fit for anyone. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without Keller Williams. It's not just the aspects of the systems and the processes and the education and training. What it really boils down to me is all of the things that come together to create this amazing magic that Keller Williams can offer. If you plug into it and you
That's it right there, I think. If you plug into it.
Yeah.
If you plug into it, if you get involved, if you participate, if you engage, you get something magical out of it.
Well, I don't think that there's any time in life to not plug in. If you don't want to plug in and get involved in something, then go find something else.
Yeah.
Life's
is too short.
Yeah.
I said it first.
Yeah.
How would you define your office culture, and what sets your team apart?
Okay. The office culture in Bellevue is magical. It's very special. And the office culture in the downtown Seattle, Keller Williams, and the LA and the Beverly Hills and Detroit and up in Canada and in the 33 countries all over the world that we're at now.
33 countries now.
Yes.
Wow.
The culture is the same.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because the corporate leadership, Gary Keller, Mo Anderson, John Davis, they set the tone for our culture, and they cast that vision in everything they do over and over again.
Wow.
So what happens is that it creates this fog of like love and support and standards over the whole company. And when you come to work there, you quickly feel it and you want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And you just know that it's positive. So I don't think that were you to be in any Keller Williams anywhere in the world, that you would have much different of an experience than you would in my market center. Now there are people that make up each market center, and our job descriptions are the same in all the market centers, our systems, our processes. So there isn't going to be a lot of variety from those types of jobs. Of course, sometimes when you get a group of people together and they're working really well and they're excited and they have a mission and a vision, there's an extra little modicum of excitement, and that's really happening in Bellevue right now. When you walk in the office, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
It's like a
energy.
static. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. Well, I'm excited to hear about that. What's the most interesting thing about you that a person wouldn't learn just reading your resume?
Well, I have 5 kids.
Okay.
And 6 grandchildren.
Wow.
And they're all out of the house. And so I think something interesting about me right now that most people wouldn't know is that I'm at a precipice in my life that I feel is unique, especially for a woman who's, a wife and a mother. Yeah. I've lovingly been dragging my children and my husband's business and my career behind me for many years. I'm 48 years old. Wow. And just in the last year, the youngest moved out, went to college, everybody's doing well. And I had an epiphany that I was unencumbered. My husband's retired. It's an opportunity for me as a woman in my lifetime to really focus on my career and make great things happen. So I think that on my resume, nobody would know that.
Yeah.
If I explained it to you, though, what you would understand is that I have a renewed excitement about everything in my life.
That's phenomenal.
And just a passion that I never thought that I would have at this point in my life. You don't see it coming until you sort of accept how your life is, and then you start seeing the doors open and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so that's, I'm at that place in my life right now, and it feels really good.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. I think everybody wants that. I mean, that's something that I'm concerned about. You know, here I am. I'm 33. I'm pretty clear on where I want to go, but the concern for everyone, I'd imagine, is once you get there, are you going to be satisfied? Are you going to be happy? And do you want more of that, or do you want to pivot and do something else? And it sounds like you've chose well. That's awesome.
If you were me, you would definitely pivot and go find, you know, something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
There's always going to be opportunity for a talented person like you. It's not about what you're doing, it's about you. It's always about the who.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You know, for those of you who are watching this for the first time or maybe don't know my background, I'm an entrepreneur. I love to build businesses. I'm like you. I'm a builder. I'm a maximizer. I like to set my eyes on something, plant the flag, and say, let's go. Let's charge the hill. And being a traditional style lender, it wasn't for me. And I like numbers, I like closing deals, I like building relationships, but sitting behind a desk in a suit and tie every day, it's like putting a tiger in a cage.
Yeah.
It's not good for me. And so doing stuff like this, Real Estate Social, The Moment, connecting with people, it's my passion. It's what I really enjoy to do. And so I'm just so thankful and blessed to have the chance to do this, because we've been able to kind of turn this hobby into a business. That's great. So it's a really exciting time. And to have people like you who are willing to come on the show and share and help us inspire and motivate, like I said, it is truly a dream come true. Because when we first had the idea, I didn't know if anybody of your caliber would be willing to come on the show and take time out of your day, because you know, you're Tonja.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm really happy for you.
Thank
I
you.
really am.
I appreciate that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch you grow and see where you go.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun. We'll do more stuff together.
Okay.
Okay. Here's a good question for you. What would the closest person in your life say if I were to ask them this question? What is the one characteristic that they totally dig about you, or that drives them insane? Probably a question for your husband. I'll call him later.
Okay. So what do they love about me and what drives them crazy?
Right.
One thing is that I've got grit.
Got grit.
And I persevere and I'm diligent.
Sure.
And so when I set my mind to something, I always reach my goals.
Yeah.
And I'll find a way, and we'll make, we make our way there. And I don't give up, and I'm very loyal. And so what that means is that if I set a goal, or in an organization we have a goal,
sure,
and I'm on board with that, and I'm bringing you along, and we're all working towards it. If something else came along, I'm not going to bail. I'm sticking with it.
That's huge.
And I don't get daunted by challenges. The challenges are just a part of the journey.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy the journey. So I think that that's something that, in my life, in real estate, that came out when I got into real estate, especially. And my husband would say that he really likes that, because he was able to find that in himself as well.
Yeah.
And learn from that and be inspired by it. I think that's what he would say.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. As far as what would drive him crazy, I wouldn't be able to tell you that, because he's either hiding it really well, or just nothing about me drives him crazy. He really is supportive, and other than.
What about somebody in your office?
Okay, somebody in my office. I'm very big picture.
Okay.
And I don't know that it would drive him crazy. Different personality types like things to be really clear and concise and all that. And so I'm not that we can't be everything.
No.
I'm a DI, I'm, the ABA, the KPA, all that. And so what I do is I leverage and make sure that I have people that are working with me
who can do all
towards those goals.
Sure.
Yeah, so if you had like a cylinder and it had holes in it,
Yeah.
right? Well, I can fill these holes up, and then I need other people that are talents and have different talents to fill the other ones. And once all the holes are filled, then what we are is now we're a synergistic body, and then I cast the vision and get them on board with it, and then bring them along with it, and lead everyone along the way, and we're all growing and getting there together. And so that's really the only way that I know to achieve goals.
Yeah.
So
I think that we have a lot in common in that regard. Is I feel that I'm really, really good at identifying what I suck at, and B, what I'm pretty good at.
Yeah.
And I try to spend my time doing the things that I feel I'm good at and that I enjoy doing, and then I try to find people who are really good at the things that I suck at.
Yeah.
And if you do that, and you surround yourself with great people, I think success is just a byproduct of something that comes from that.
I agree.
Well, Tonja, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
It's been such
Thank
a pleasure.
you.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week.